All right, let's go ahead and continue on, guys. Next project up, we have a couple more Solana projects. So let's get into the next one. Next one is Suede AI. Now, this is an interesting one, guys, because we actually had the honor of covering this project way back. And actually, it was the very end of December, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like maybe the 29th, 28th, something like that. Something like that. It was one of these days, right? And actually, no, I think it was even early. But let's just say it was higher. Let's just say it was higher. Around 6 mil. This project has sent. This project has absolutely sent. So congrats if you got into this one from one of the early streams. You're up pretty nice. Let's take a fresh look at Suede AI on Solana. Okay, so as always, we're going to put the live notification out there. It's going to notify their community that we're talking about them, and we'll take a look, see what we think. All right, notification just posted, and of course, for everyone listening in the chat, don't worry, you're not going to be left out. We're going to post all of the details and pin them to our community choice tab. Did I mention that you should be looking at community choice? Because if you're not, you're missing out on all the alpha that we're pinning, like every single time we look at a project. And remember, guys, because I had someone DM me saying, should I buy the token when you post them in the chat? No, guys, use common sense, right? It's for you to have all the details, and then at the end there's that review, right? So if it's a high priority watch, probably consider, allocating a little bag on a dip, right? If it's an avoid, then no, don't buy it. You're going to lose money, right? So, but at the end of the day, use your common sense and kind of be smart about your investments, right? So let's take a look at Suede, Johnny Suede. Interesting. So this, I can tell you, not by the banner or the name, is actually a utility project, and it was something that I mentioned last time. I was like, maybe make it a little bit more apparent, tying the branding a little bit more tight. The banner did update, and I think it does look better, but it doesn't necessarily tell me it's a utility project, which I don't know exactly how you do it, but I think there could be something, because right now I don't know. Just looking at this chart, I would have no idea. I have no idea that this has anything to do with utility, but it does, which is pretty cool. So again, beautiful ascension on the chart. It did have a drop off here coming into the late parts of January, which did get eaten up really aggressively over not that long of a period of time, like a couple days, and then is now holding a higher floor. So let's take a look. 67K in volume, 15 mil market cap. Look, the volume isn't great, but it's not the worst at all. What this tells me at this high of a market cap is that there's strong conviction, right? The whales are very happy with where they're sitting. People that want to pick up a bag are picking up bags, but there's not a lot of movement, and that's good and bad, right? There's not a lot of movement as far as new buys, but there's also not a lot of movement when it comes to sells. You can actually see the buy volume versus the sell volume. There's higher buy volume than sell. So overall, hey, okay, right? Now a few other things I want to look at here, because it has been a bit of time, is I would suggest, especially on Solana, look at the distribution, really any chain, but Solana it's especially apparent. And what we're looking for here, especially these higher market caps, is values that are the same, meaning the values match, and percentages that look similar. So you can see here percentages are the same, 2.19%, 2.19%. This is of course a liquidity pair, so that's not a good example, but I'm saying just in general you want to look for that, because if it's the exact same value, there's a good chance that it's a wallet split. Now again, this is liquidity pair, doesn't apply, but if we scroll through, we're looking for those repeating values. To me, that can say potential risk. Red flags, right? Red flags could be risky. And you might think, well, wait a second, there's 3 wallets here that have 0.5% each. Aren't these connected? Not necessarily, because if you look at the values, they're different values to the tune of a couple $100 to potentially $1,000 delta. How's that possible? Well, if you go to the right, a couple decimals, it doesn't show that, but they're probably different. In fact, they are different. Otherwise, you would have matching values. So again, this is just a little exercise for some of the new folks to make sure you stay safe. So here's a good example of some matching values exactly. 44.1K in value and 0.29% supply in each wallet. So that would mean that collectively, if these wallets are connected, you're at just under 0.6% of supply that could sell on you at any given time with just a button click, right? Because if it's the same person, you would assume that it's just as easy for them to hit, buy or sell. Same thing here for 0.26, as you can see by the value there. Same thing for 0.2, as you can see here, and potentially some others as well. So again, it's not a gotcha for projects, not a gotcha for their whales. It's more of a protection mechanism for all of you that might be new and not know that there's maybe some split supply. Now, of course, if you have more time, which hopefully you guys do if you're buying projects, Bubble Maps is your friend. Bubble Maps helps you see visually interconnections between wallets. You can take one of those that you saw at first glance, might be the same as another wallet, plug it into Bubble Maps and see what comes out. If you see a bunch of interconnections like a jellyfish, then there's probably a problem, or at the very least, you should be consulting with the admins of that community to understand if there's a reasonable explanation. If there's not, why risk it? Well, why risk it? There's so many projects, guys. Okay, so, but saying that, not too bad. A couple wallets potentially connected, but nothing crazy. All right, next thing is, this is a utility project. So let's get a high level view of what that looks like. By the way, guys, if you're kicked out of Telegram, just rejoin. Sometimes the Telegram servers are a little iffy. Just come on back in, no worries, as I see some people rejoining. Also, I see new people joining into the Telegram from our X account probably. If you're making your way over, guys, please make sure you're posted up on community choice. Although we would love to have you on our trend account, you're welcome to stay there as well. All the action, all the projects, everything gets posted on our community choice tab within the Telegram you're in right now. Okay, so you can see we can launch their DApp right now. The general premise is explained here. Text to music, AI music generation. Transform your ideas into unique musical experiences using our AI generation system. Pretty cool. And maybe it gives you an idea of what that looks like. Oh, people already created songs. Pretty cool. Look at this. Bear markets, fear Suede. That's the tune of the last couple weeks, I'll tell you that. And then a man playing the saxophone through his nose. Very creative. Very good. Okay, so humor aside, this looks like a pretty good dApp. Now, another little, kind of safety thing from being in the space for a little bit, if you don't already know, dApps can be a risk point for connecting your wallet. So if you're ever interested in buying a project and testing out their tech, always do it from a burner wallet, a new one that you just generated, and connect your wallet there. Never connect it to your main account that has all of your main investments in it, because you can get liquidated with the snap of a finger if it's a malicious dApp that has you sign for something that you don't want to sign for. So please be careful out there. But that being said, hey, I like that they have a utility. It's a utility that you can literally listen to, and this is obviously the token backing it. Also, it looks like their founder is doxed, Mr. Johnny Suede himself, with the smoothest name on the blockchain, it looks like. If we go to their Telegram, we can learn a little bit more here. Obviously, we're not going to read verbatim through the website or anything, but this is to kind of cue some of your interest and see what it's all about. Now, my main question, and I think yours should be as well, if there's a token associated, is why? Why does the utility need a project? Is it reasonable? Does it feel like it's shoehorned in and doesn't really need to be there? What does it look like? Well, I can tell you from this little line here, it makes sense. Revenue sharing. Earn more from your music with fair and transparent revenue sharing mechanisms integrating into our system. So basically hold a token and earn. I'm sure there's other utilities as well tied in, but that's a pretty good one. The next hurdle, which you would really have to tune into their spaces and kind of, browse through their timeline to understand, is how are they going to get people to use it, right? How are they going to get new creatives to use their generation tools instead of using, other ones that might be out there, let alone a blockchain one that maybe they may like crypto, they might not like crypto, right? What does that education curve look like for adoption? Be very interested. So before we give our review, let's go to their X account and see how they're maybe taking on some of those challenges. So Suede AI agents, here is their X account. You can see 53% of the supply is burn. That's awesome. Burns are always a nice little cherry on top, right? The Age of Suede has arrived. It looks like they have some of the music that they've generated as well as some of the coverage. Little shout out to us. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, this would be a great time for them to jump on spaces. Looks like they're doing that, and they are even going to jump into one in like 10 minutes. So they're going to be posted up over there very soon. And in general, kind of coverage that they've had. In crypto, never be the main character. Hey, main character's okay. If you're doing the right stuff, main character's okay. And they're actually highlighting the fact that they're trending number 2 on the Soul Ranker. And right now they are actually number 3, but they're vying between 2 and 3 pretty well. Now, how did they join that list? They just hit apply for listing on the CoinRanker suite, and they were able to ascend to the top. Now, what's cool is not only does it get you on the show like they're being featured right now, but it also goes out to all of our other users of our buy bots, which is a nice little incentive in my opinion. But anyways, thanks for the shout. Appreciate you guys. So you can see a lot of general posting about kind of what it's all about, some of the contests they have, some of the coverage that's been done, and so on. So I think that pretty much suffices for coverage. It still doesn't necessarily answer the question that I had of how are they looking to approach, acquiring new clientele, right? New creatives to maybe use this. Maybe they sponsor a music festival. There's a bunch of different things that they could do. I'd be very curious to see. But hey, they have a space coming up in 10 minutes. Maybe listen to that recording after this show and see what it's all about. But you can't leave the show. No, you can, but please don't. So that would be something that I would look for. Where does this one sit? Well, guys, look, I have a soft spot in my heart for projects that make us money here on the show, and this was one of the early projects to do that. We're now tuning back in more than basically coming up on 2 months later, and they still made us gains. And it's been twice now, because I remember we had them on a second time. They made us gains that time, and now this is the third time to the tune of a couple X's, which is great. We'll take that all day. So I'm also going to put this one as a watch list. Again, starting off the day pretty good. As a reminder, we do give away a void sometimes, so don't be surprised. But starting off strong with Memdex and Suede. Not bad, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. As a reminder, we do have an order to the madness here in these